If you're waking up early, drinking the right water, taking your supplements, and still feeling tired by mid-morning, your morning routine may not be the problem. In actuality, the bigger issue is what your body is dealing with across the entire day. Because your metabolism does not reset at 6 a.m. It responds to your sleep, your blood sugar, your movement, your nutrition, your stress, and your ability to recover. So today, I want to show you what actually matters if you want better energy and better metabolic health, and why copying someone else's morning routine may not fix the real issue. I'm Dr. Cameron Brown. I'm a doctor of chiropractic, and I specialize in helping people improve metabolic dysfunction naturally. Now, I am not saying that morning habits are useless, right? But getting sunlight, moving your body, drinking water, and eating quality food can be very useful. But the problem is that people often treat these habits like isolated tricks. They expect one drink, one supplement, or one morning workout to correct a problem that has been developing for years. And unfortunately, that is not how physiology works. So instead of giving you another complicated routine, I want to focus on 3 signals that actually influence how you feel during the day. The first signal is your sleep-wake rhythm. And this is where many morning routines get backwards. People think the morning is where they fix their energy, but that's not the case. Your morning energy is often determined by what happened the night before. So if you're sleeping at different times every night, using bright screens late, eating large meals right before bed, or relying on caffeine to push through the exhaustion, your body may not be getting a consistent recovery signal. And if you have persistent fatigue despite adequate sleep, do not assume it is simply a motivation problem. Fatigue can have many causes, including sleep apnea, anemia, thyroid problems, blood sugar issues, medication effects, and other medical conditions. That is something to evaluate, not something to cover up with another energy drink. Now, that does not mean every person needs to wake up at the exact same minute every day, but consistency does matter. Your body is constantly trying to predict what comes next. So when you wake up, when you eat, when you move, when you sleep, when all of those change dramatically from day to day, your system has a harder time coordinating energy. So the first step is simple. Wake up at a reasonably consistent time, get outside in the light early in the day, and begin lowering stimulation at night. Not because sunlight is the magic cure, but because light is one of your signals your brain uses to coordinate daily rhythm. The second signal is movement. And the big one here is not necessarily a brutal morning workout. It is giving your muscles regular opportunities to use energy. See, your muscles are one of the largest places your body can store and use glucose. So when you move consistently, especially after meals, you are giving your body a practical way to manage energy. This could be a short walk. It could be light resistance training. It could be a few minutes of movement between periods of sitting. The point is not to punish yourself. The point is to stop treating movement as something you do once, then forget about for the rest of the day. So something as simple as a 20-minute workout does not completely cancel out 10 hours of sitting. Now, this is where people often make the mistake of going too hard. They are already exhausted, so they start the day with an intense workout every morning. Then they feel worse, their recovery is poor, then they conclude that exercise doesn't work for them. But in actuality, the issue may be that the dose was wrong. So start with movement you can recover from. So as I mentioned, simple things as walking after meals. Perform basic resistance training 2 or 3 times a week, and break up long periods of sitting. Then you can build from there. Your goal is to not win the morning. Your goal is to send your body consistent signals throughout the day. If this is helping you understand why your energy has not improved, share this video with someone who keeps trying new morning routines but still feels exhausted. And stay with me, because the third signal is the one most people overlook. The third signal is what you eat, and more specifically, how your first meal affects your energy. Now, there's no single breakfast that works for everyone. Understand that. Some people feel better eating earlier, while other people prefer to delay their first meal. The important question is not whether you follow a specific eating routine. The important question is what happens after you eat. Do you feel steady and focused? Or do you feel tired, hungry, and dependent on caffeine a few hours later? A meal built mostly around refined carbohydrates can cause a rapid rise and fall in sugar for some people. That may leave them feeling hungry and tired soon afterwards. So if you eat breakfast, consider building it around these three things. 1, a quality protein source. 2, fiber-rich foods. And 3, a reasonable amount of healthy fats, depending on your individual needs. So that could look like avocado toast with vegetables and berries, dairy-free yogurt with berries, chia seeds, and nuts, or a meal built around fruits and a slower digesting carbohydrate. See, the exact food matters less than the pattern. You want to reduce the cycle of quick energy rise followed by a crash. So if you have diabetes, take glucose lowering medication, or have a history of blood sugar problems, do not make aggressive changes without working with your medical professional. Because understand that natural does not mean risk-free. Now, here's an important distinction. A morning routine can support your metabolism, but it cannot compensate for the major drivers of metabolic dysfunction. It cannot make up for consistently poor sleep. It cannot erase a diet that keeps you overeating highly processed foods. It cannot replace appropriate medical evaluation. And it cannot fix a stress pattern that keeps your body in a constant state of demand. So if your morning routine has become longer and more complicated every month, but your energy has not improved, you need to simplify it. So start with 4 basics. Wake up at a consistent time, get outside in the sun early, move your body, especially after a meal, and build meals that support steady energy. Then look at the bigger picture. Your sleep, your recovery, your appetite, your waist measurement, your blood pressure, your fasting glucose or A1C when appropriate, your symptoms over time. That is the information that helps you understand what is actually happening. Not one routine on the internet that you see every now and then. So the goal is not to create a perfect morning. The goal is to create a consistent metabolic environment across the entire day. That is what most people miss. They are looking for one habit that will suddenly change everything, and that's just not how it works. But your body responds to repeated signals. It likes consistency. So when you sleep consistently, move regularly, and eat in a way that supports stable energy and address the underlying causes of your symptoms, you give your body a much better opportunity to function optimally. And if you have been dealing with fatigue, weight loss resistance, or blood sugar problems for years, do not assume that you are lazy or lacking discipline, even though some people are. But there may be an upstream issue that has not been properly evaluated. That is what I look for clinically. Not just the symptom, but the pattern underneath it. So the next time you see a morning routine promising to change your life immediately, I want you to ask a better question. Does this habit support my overall physiology, or am I using it to address or avoid addressing the real problem? That's the difference between chasing symptoms and improving metabolic health. So if you found this helpful or useful, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want help understanding what may be driving your symptoms, you can book a free clarity call with me through the link below. Catch you in the next video.